Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Renegade Predator figure from NECA Toys. That's right, it's our third and final of the newest wave of Kenner homage figures, so let's check them out. As you can see, he comes in that awesome packaging that pays homage to the vintage Kenner line of Predator toys, featuring that awesome Predator profile in the background and all of those bright colors on the packaging, as well as some cool artwork of the Renegade Predator right there at the bottom of the blister bubble. And when you flip that box around to the backside, it continues that retro theme with those grid lines along with a description of the Renegade Predator. And below that, we get a look at all three of the current Kenner homage figures. Alright, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Renegade Predator figure outside of the packaging. Now, just like we've seen with all of the recent Kenner homage figures from NECA Toys, Renegade Predator here does share sculpt with some previously released Predator action figures. For example, the Water Emergence Predator. You can see standing them side by side, most of the figure is identical between the two. It is also worth noting that Renegade Predator is based on that version that came out in the Kenner line that was most notably packaged alongside the Alien figure in an Alien vs. Predator package. So this Predator here was the one in the Kenner line that was the most similar to the version we saw in the movie. NECA has actually changed it up a little bit by giving him a much greener skin tone, at least from what I can tell. The version that was in that vintage Kenner line did have a bit of a green tint, but the one on NECA's figure here is a much more vibrant green in color. The sculpt on this guy is terrific, and like I said, if you've got any of those other versions that use the sculpt, it is familiar to you, but it is really nice to see, especially since, for example, I've got that Water Emergence version, which is mostly translucent, so it's really nice getting to see all of the details painted, so that way you can see all the great sculpted details. I love all of those little details, specifically on the armor pieces. The armor is always some of the most amazing parts on these NECA Predator figures. I mean, especially looking down at the wrist bracers there, all the little etchings and all the metal work and everything just looks fantastic on this guy. And that paint job is very nice. His mask and his armor is all this very dark kind of gunmetal color, while his skin is that very bright green in color. And he's got some really great markings on there, and the way the green skin kind of changes from a lighter color to darker shades depending on the part of his body looks very nice. It's a very clean and very beautifully done paint job on this figure. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out his articulation. That head is on a ball joint, so you can get it to look left, right, up, and down. It is worth noting that it is slightly hindered because all of the little dread pieces, while being separate sculpts and all kind of a nice flexible plastic, they do kind of bump into his shoulder cannon. And as you can see, that shoulder cannon is a separate piece, just like we've seen in the past on this particular sculpt. So that actually just kind of slides and hooks onto the shoulder just like that. You can always take it off if you don't want to use it. And then the cannon on top is articulated on its own as well, so you can actually move that forwards and backwards, as well as turn it side to side. Like I said, slides easily off the back if you want to get a better range of motion out of his head. You got the ball joints at the shoulders. The shoulder armor hinders it just a little bit, but you can still get it forwards and backwards very nicely. The little soft plastic cables that are on the arms and the armor there don't hinder the articulation, which is very nice. You got swivels at the elbow as well as an elbow bend. The hands are on a ball joint. As you can see, it's really easy to actually pop the hands off this guy. They're just ball jointed. It's not broken. It's just very easy to pop off there. That actually comes in handy when putting his accessories in his hands, believe it or not. The waist swivels left and right. You do got ball joints at the thighs there, as you can see, so you can move the legs outwards, forwards, and backwards, as well as swivel them there. You do have nice double joints in the knees, which the knee pads on his armor do a good job of covering up there. And then you can swivel the foot at the ankle, as well as kind of roll it all around, because the foot is also on its own ball joint. So, pretty decent range of motion there, which should allow you to pose this guy around in some pretty nice poses. So this guy does include a few accessories in addition to that shoulder cannon that we already took a look at. Both of these accessories are cool because they come straight out of that vintage action figure. He's got this awesome looking blaster, which has beautiful sculpted details. Really great paint job. That's sort of a two-tone silver and gunmetal with some really nice little red additions on there that bring out all of those great details. And he can hold that very nicely in that left hand. He even has a bit of a trigger finger, which holds it perfectly. And in addition to that, he's got this really crazy kind of bladed weapon there. Totally reminds me of something you'd see the Klingons use, like the Bakla. But very cool accessory there. Again, it's got that same beautiful paint job on there with the two tones of silver. And he can hold that best in his right hand. So you can even get some two-handed poses out of it, though, which is pretty sweet. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at Renegade Predator. I really wish that I had the vintage one handy to do a comparison time. I do have that figure, and I've reviewed it in the past, but I can't find it. It's in one of my storage totes somewhere, so I apologize for that. But I will say this is another one of those cool Kenner homage figures that I really like. It is just a reuse of a sculpt, but it's still a beautiful sculpt, and the paint job is fantastic and really makes this guy stand out on your shelf. Plus, if you're a big fan of those Kenner Predators like I was, it's pretty great getting these guys all paired up next to each other to really kind of flesh out your Predator display. So I'd like to give a special thanks to NECA Toys for sending this along for me to take a look at. This current wave of Kenner homage figures is already starting to hit store shelves right now. So happy hunting, my friends, and of course if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, my friends!